are you drinking?
Very, very carefully. Okay, go time.
Helix 2 en route with heavy payload.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, the standalone expansion to the 2018 smash hit Marvel Spider-Man. Set 1 year after the events of the main game, this expansion not only tells the story of Miles' journey becoming Spider-Man, but also serves as a prologue to an eventual sequel. Miles' journey starts with him aiding his mentor Peter on a mission, but quickly turns him into a full-time superhero after Peter leaves New York in his hands. Although this expansion is available on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 consoles, Miles serves as a great showcase for what's in store for the future of the PlayStation 5. Playing the game on PlayStation 5, you are offered two graphical modes to choose from, Performance and Fidelity. The Performance mode runs at a locked 60 frames per second and a dynamic 4K resolution with no ray tracing and some of the graphical settings turned down. Fidelity mode, however, offers native 4K with ray tracing turned on, as well as all the extra graphical enhancements turned up. However, this all comes at the cost of playing the game at 30 frames per second. The performance mode is really smooth regardless of the scenes that you are on, while the fidelity mode adds the extra flash to some of those same scenes. During my playthrough, I had jumped between the two modes for about 1/3 of the game before I eventually settled in on the fidelity mode. Having played the game in both modes, I did pick up on a few things. For starters, the fidelity mode, the motion blur is far more noticeable than in the performance mode. At the same time, in the moments where the game slows down, like in a cutscene, the extra detail is a sight to behold. Intentional or not, Insomniac Games made this a hard decision, and you can't go wrong with either mode. It really comes down to personal preference. You can see in this clip right here just how smooth the 60 frames per second is while you're swinging through the city. It's really what makes this decision so hard, as the swinging is such an important part of the Spider-Man game. Take a look at this scene here, another swinging scene, but this time running in the game's fidelity mode. In the building in the distance, you can see the ray tracing and how it really makes the scene pop as I swing up towards the building.
It happened a few days later, during the so-called storm of the century. The 5 o'clock news won't stop.
For how good everything looks, this is a game after all, so how does it actually play? Well, the leveling system and the gameplay have been tweaked to suit Miles' character. Take the leveling system for example. Peter had more gadgets than Miles did, almost double in fact, but in exchange, Miles has more superpowers. The addition of Miles' stealth and venom powers give Miles more flexibility to diversify his play in ways that were not possible with Peter. Keeping with the theme of Miles' inexperience, however, the swinging animations are changed to reflect Miles as he learns the ropes of being Spider-Man. All these things make Miles feel completely different than playing as Peter. During the roughly 7 to 8 hour campaign, I had more fun playing as Miles than I ever did playing as Peter. While the campaign is shorter than the main game, it is also better paced and has more focus and less fillers. The main villain to the game is the Tinkerer, who is an excellent foe for Miles to contend with. Which brings me to the best part of this game, boss battles. The boss battles are great and diverse, with each one having a different flair and never feeling repetitive. My only big complaint regarding the boss battles is that there's just too few of them. The rest of the gameplay is similar to that of the main game, which is not necessarily a bad thing. There are side missions and collectibles to obtain, making a completionist playthrough to take about roughly 15 hours or so. Not everything is perfect, as there is a bug that makes Miles turn into literally anything. Light post, garbage can, snow, you name it. The other issue I had through my playthrough was the game hard crashed my console once during a cutscene. None of these issues are deal breakers, but are definitely worth noting. As stated earlier in the video, Miles is a great game and a great showcase for the PlayStation 5. If you enjoyed the main game, you will definitely enjoy Miles Morales. Despite a couple of hiccups, this game is a must-have for all PlayStation users, and I give Miles Morales a 9 out of 10.
You'll have to reset them individually before you can turn on the pump.